been busy, you know how it goes. Not much time that's free. I was wondering, are you keeping track of me? Did you notice my tears? You were such a friend, and I still need you, even after all these years. Hello, God, it's been such a long time. I hope you're keeping well. Guess you've heard about the things been happening here on earth. Someone's opened the gates of hell. I was wondering, are you keeping track of us? Did you notice our fear? Guess I wanna turn and find you're still here, even after all these years. Hello, God, we used to talk quite a bit. Guess I drifted away. Grew up and life got so complicated. Could things be simple again? Thank you for your time. I hope to hear from you soon. Until then, keep well. One more thing I really need to say. Please be near me today.
That particular song, I need to acknowledge this, is sung by my close personal friend Mark Arnell, who is the minister at Trinity United Church in Napanee at the present time. He wrote that song many years ago. It was written as a prayer in response to the 9/11 attacks. And what I want to talk to you today about is prayer. And I want to do so because I learned to pray. So some of you are aware that I am the son of a clergyman. And you'd think I'd learned to pray from my dad, but I didn't. My dad's publicly a great man of faith, and everybody knew him and all that kind of stuff. But my mom, she had the profound impact on our family. Quiet woman, small woman, iron will woman, with 4 Milley kids, had to be. But she had a very deep and profound faith. And she's the one who taught us to say our prayers at night and sit by the bed and begin and end each day with an acknowledgement of God's presence in our own lives. Not in a big spectacular way, but in ways that made a difference. Prayer is really important. And why am I speaking about prayer on Mother's Day? 1, because my mom taught me to pray. 2, because the scripture today, that passage from John 17, is Jesus' deep and profound prayer for his friends and apostles. And on the screen, you have an expression of prayer that had a profound impact in my own life as a small boy. and the song of a friend. That is a prayer that has just rocked me to my soul when I first heard it, and it's one that has had deep meaning for me ever since. About that's a great way to pray. Just make it into a song and make it into a letter to God. On the screen is this famous image called the praying hands. It was actually drawn as, that's actually the sketch for a larger work that actually was lost in time when it was burned in a fire in 1704. This was done in 1505 by Albrecht Dürer in Nuremberg, Germany. Drew these pictures of these hands praying, and they have become iconic symbols of prayer. And how many of us know that you pray by clasping your hands like this and putting them forward like this in this sense of supplication? I first saw that picture, I was probably 13 years of age, interested in art, and could not believe the detail and the quality of them. There's a story that goes with those hands. It may or may not be true. But the story is that Albrecht was one of 6 children whose father was a goldsmith and made a moderate living making jewelry out of gold, but couldn't really provide for all 6 of his children. And he had 2 sons, Albrecht and Albert, who both wanted to become artists. And they couldn't afford to both go to art school. So Albert and Albrecht made a pact. And they would toss a coin, and whoever won the toss would go to art school, and the other would go to work in the mines to pay for their brother's education. Albrecht won the toss, went to art school. Albert went into the mines, and for 4 years labored in the mines. And when Albrecht graduated, they had a celebration at home. And he said to his brother now, and he had become successful even by that point in his early career, and he was making a living on his artwork, and was able to say to his brother, I can pay for you to go to art school. And his brother held up his hands that had been broken in the work in the mines and were no longer capable of producing art. And these are the hands that history tells us, or legend tells us, are the hands that Albrecht drew to make his praying hands, which became a larger piece on the apostles, and the hands were transposed onto one of the apostles. So it's a profound image of caring and sacrifice and love and concern. And about prayer isn't about just praying for good things. It's praying for the presence of God to be in each and every life and in each and every moment. And when you hear the prayer Jesus prays for his friends and his disciples, he's not praying for, glorious things to happen. He's just praying for them to know the presence of God amongst all the bad things that will happen to them, that they avoid the evil one. Mark Arnill's prayer to God is, someone's unleashed the gates of hell. Be with us, God. Be with us in that time. I woke up this morning to news around the world of another terror attack in France, and a mother and her children blowing themselves up in a situation in Indonesia. Terrible things happening in the world, and I go, how did I go to church and preach about that? And I think, that's exactly what you've been working on all week, Tim. God's with us even in the bad times. My prayers that I learned as a boy from my mom weren't, have a happy day. She helped me learn that when I was afraid at night, I could pray to God. I could open up my heart and my mind to the one whose love is with me all the time. And I could draw strength. I learned that as a boy. My mom didn't my mom came from a good home and a good family, but they didn't have an easy life growing up. They had some serious troubles in their family. Just health issues with some of her siblings, and her father was killed in a car accident. I think I was like maybe 2 years of age when my grandfather was killed. And he had been supporting a family of 6 girls two of which had serious, serious health conditions and could never live on their own independently. And my mom grew up in that kind of environment where if you asked her how her life went, she'd have told you it was blessed. She had a good life. Because she had that sense of what was with her. And she traded that sense into the lives of her children. Both my brothers and sister and I would never say that our family was a family that had ever dealt with hardship. I think we had every hardship everybody else has. Because it's not what you go through that matters, it's how you go through it that matters. It's what you face that matters. It's the way you take your faith into everyday life that matters. If my mother taught me anything, it's to never stop believing, to never give up, and to never, never, never allow yourself to be torn down by the world. Everybody knows, most of my friends know I'm a football fan, and I like the Seattle Seahawks. One of the things I like about them is their coach, who nobody else likes. He's known to be totally up all the time. He's actually the oldest professional football coach in the history of the game. He's in his mid-70s now. And he presents, people think he's in his 40s or 50s. He was being interviewed by a newspaper reporter, and they said to him, "You're always up, you're always energetic, you're always like that." He says, "Is that just an act, or is that?" He says, No, it's not an act, but it's not that I'm always up. I have times when I'm down, when I'm depressed." And the reporter said, "Oh, so you do admit that you've got days when you're just depressed?" And he goes, "Well, no. I said I have times when I'm down. I wouldn't waste a whole day on it." He says, "I have my faith, and my faith builds me up." And that's the truth. That's the truth. And that's the truth I learned at my mother's knee. It's the truth I learned in the gospel. It's the truth I've learned through my friends and my family and my life. And it's the living gospel. We talk about the living gospel, and people say to me, "Well, what's the living gospel?" Well, I say it's not words dancing on a page. It's actually taking what's on that page and living it out in your own life and experiencing it. Albrecht Dührer's hands have inspired people for 500 years. 500 years those hands have been a symbol of fidelity and faith and praying to God. Artists like Mark and thousands of others that put their prayers into songs have taught us how to express them out into the world. And how many countless people have sat down with their children in the dark of the night and taught them to pray and hope and believe. And the true quality prayers are the ones like Jesus prayed for his disciples when he said, "I pray that they will know you, God, that they will know you in their life, and that they will have a sense that they belong to you." There be the beginning and ending of what any prayer should be about.